Hello BookTube, Sarah here, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with a weekly reading vlog. Today is Saturday, March the 2nd, and it is about 10 to 10 at night, and I am finally sitting down to chat with you guys. I was almost done my ebook, and I'm like, I'll just finish the ebook, and then I'll sit down and do my clip for today. And then I realized, like, I wanted to kind of read that just right before I went to bed, so I thought, let's just record the clip and I can update you guys, like, give you guys a fuller update tomorrow. But, like, you know, my end thoughts of the book. But anyway, kind of a lazy day today. I spent the majority of the day editing the vlog. Last week's vlog, excuse me. I did not realize it was going to be that long. So I apologize for that. I know a lot of you don't mind the longer vlogs, and I appreciate that so much. I don't want to censor myself too much on here, and I don't mean censor myself. I don't want to cut too much out. I kind of like, our lives are not just books. And I kind of really like having like this place where I can share with you guys. I don't share everything, obviously, but you know, I am very transparent, and the person that you see talking to you right now is the same person you would see like if we met up for coffee or tea, or you know, we went to the old Starbucks and got a white hot chocolate with peppermint. It's the drink of choice tonight, you guys. It's Saturday. I was totally gonna get my peach tea, but I'm like, I was really craving a hot chocolate, so that's what I went with tonight. Besides, I had a freebie on my, I do have a gold card for Starbucks. I had a freebie on my card, so I thought, well, for the freebies, you want to get like the more expensive drinks because you want to make it worth your while. So anyway, so that's what I got. But today was, like I said, majority editing the vlog. Garrett and I usually go grocery shopping around noon. But I said to him today, because it was snowing. It started snowing at about 11 o'clock this morning, and it snowed until about 5 o'clock tonight. I actually did get a clip of the snow, and I will insert it after this. I'm trying to get better on doing more clips outside of this space, of me just sitting here talking to you guys, of like kind of my out and about. My life really isn't that interesting, but if I do something a little bit more interesting, I'm going to try my best to kind of take you guys with me. And if not get video, at least get a couple pictures or something. To make it a little bit easier, or even stuff that happens around this apartment, you know, like I got images of the cats or stuff about the cats last week, so yeah. But anyway, so we didn't go grocery shopping till about 4:30 tonight. Big mistake when you're hungry, you guys. We're walking around Walmart, I'm like, can we go, please? Because I am starving. And he keeps picking things up. Do you want to get this? Do you want to get that? I'm like, no, I want to go get dinner. That's what I want. So we went and grabbed dinner. I grabbed my Starbucks, and yeah, so now we've been home for quite some time. We had dinner. He's watching the hockey game. I think it might even be over at this point. But yeah, so I'm going to do my best to try and keep these vlogs under an hour and a half. No promises. It is what it is. This is me. Anyway, let's jump into the knitting, shall we? 5 minutes in, and I'm trying to keep this shorter. So first of all, guys, I have a finished object. It's a pair of socks. Yes, I finished my socks. I am super, super happy about these. I absolutely love them. So that's where I was last Saturday when I recorded. And of course, that's how much I got done. I think I finished these on Thursday. So yeah, so I'm super, super excited about them. These are my, as I'm dubbing them, my Easter socks. But they are my gobstopper socks. The yarn is from a company, or a woman that I know, called Truly Wicked Crafts. And the colorway is called Gobstopper. But to me, it screams Easter. My friend Mandy has this colorway, I think. And I think hers is sparkly, but I'm not absolutely certain. Probably, if I know Mandy, it's probably sparkly. But yeah, so I'm super duper happy with these. I love the unintentional stripe in them. And the pattern used is a free pattern on Ravelry. I've mentioned it for the last 18 weeks. It is Hermione's Everyday Sock Pattern by Erica Luter. So super, super happy about these, and I love them. So they're going to get a bath, and the ends are already woven in. They're going to have a quick little bath, and then I'm going to hang them over the shower curtain to dry tonight, and then I'm going to wear them happily tomorrow. So I cannot wait. I've been waiting to wear them to show you guys first, so yay, here we go. So of course, as soon as I finished a pair of socks, I immediately had to cast on my next pair of socks because that's what I do. I've seen a lot of knitters, and I've even seen some booktubers who are knitters who will knit 2 at a time. Meaning you knit 2 socks at the same time, essentially, on one really long cord. I've tried it, and I don't care for it. It's way too much yarn management to try and, you know, and stuff gets tangled, and It's more of a headache for me than anything else. I'm happy knitting my socks one at a time, but as soon as I cast off a sock, I immediately put a new sock on the needles, and same with, I finish a pair, I immediately put the next pair on. So the next pair of socks I started, you guys will have seen, I think it was last Friday, I pulled this yarn out of my bag of yarn. And this is yarn from a company called Dreams and Fiber, and which is Erica Luter's company. So the woman who designed the pattern on these socks dyed this yarn. Guys, can we talk about this? Look at this yarn. It's called Halloween Town, and I am absolutely in love with it. Now, as you can see, the ball looks kind of wonky. I have tried to knit this yarn into several different patterns, and it's not what it wanted to be. Different sock patterns. So finally I decided to do this one, which I've done already. There's a couple of go-to sock patterns that I love for like very basic socks. And this is a sock pattern designed by my very best friend, Brandy. Brandy Miller on Ravelry, or no, she's Witchy Knits on Ravelry. And the pattern is called Running Through. And this is a very, it's not an expensive sock pattern. I highly encourage you to go out and buy it. Not only is she my best friend, but the pattern is also fantastic. So I'm going to try and show it to you. It's going to be kind of difficult to see it in this lighting, but you can see. So there's like some knit rows. This is my toe. So there's some knit rows, and then you do a couple things for a couple rows, and then you do some more knit rows, and then those things again. But like I said, it's called Running Through, and it's really, really neat. It does some really neat things with the yarn. I highly encourage you. I will leave a link to it in the description box below. Click on it and go and have a look at it. Much better lighting than what I have to show you guys here. Plus, it's just, I've only just started. I've just gotten the toe, and I'm about an inch into the sock done. But it's a really, really basic, really easy sock pattern. Like, it's a great beginner sock pattern. And she gives you everything. She tells you how to do the toe and the heel and all that. All I did was I do my personal basic sock recipe of a rounded toe. And then I just use the stitch, like the pattern itself for the design. I just work that into the sock itself, and I do my own heel and my own length and all those wonderful things. So it's versatile as well. So yeah. Which I love in socks, because I do like to do my own toe and heel, because socks are something that, like a sweater or anything else, it kind of really needs to fit you. And sometimes with sock patterns, you know, the designer might have an idea for whatever, but it might not fit your foot that well. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. And this is living in this is my Shop So Flow bag. I've had this for a while. I just felt that this needed a Supergirl, Batgirl, Wonder Woman bag. Is this bag not awesome? I kind of really, really love it. I love the fabric. The DC superheroes. I mean, I always love Wonder Woman, and then that's the interior. Kind of reminds me of Minnie Mouse, the inside. But yeah, so, and it's a nice drawstring bag. And yeah, if I remember to, I will link her shop in the description box below. She's super awesome. But yeah, so there's my socks. And then what else got some love this week? I think this sweater first. Is this the right sweater that I pulled out of here? Yes, it is. So this pattern is uncomplicated, and it's by Alicia Plummer. So this is one of the 2 sweaters that got some love this week. See if I can get the picture. The picture on the pattern itself is not that great. It's just kind of like the top of the sweater. It shows this little pocket. So it's just a basic pullover sweater, and then it's just got a little pocket on the chest, or just above like the breast area. That area. But I got some good, oh, that was the yarn ball. Got some good work done on this one this week. Sorry. The stitch marker is where I was last Saturday, so I got all this done. Doesn't look like a lot, but there are, I think, close to 300 stitches on the needles at this point. So yeah, I'm now joined to work in the round. Before I was knitting flat, and now I've joined it. Oh, I just gave myself a scare. I thought it was all twisted. So yeah, so I have joined it for knitting in the round. And yeah, I'm still working on the body. I'm hoping to get the sleeves on hold this week, and then I can just work down the body. So the yarn that I'm using is from Knit Picks. It is Knit Picks Stroll. I think it's Stroll. I think that's their sock yarn. There's the tag. Stroll Tweed, because as you can see from the little flaky bumpies, it's a tweed yarn, and the colorway is called Garnet. This is it's not 100% merino. It is a 65% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and 10% of the tweed. So yeah, it's super, oh my gosh, you guys, it's ridiculously soft. It is so, so, so lovely. So yeah, I think that's, ow, I just poked myself with the needles. I think that's going to look really spectacular on me. I hope so anyway. But yeah, so I'm super enjoying working on this. And I've got to be so careful that the stitches don't fall off the needles, because that would be bad. The other sweater that got some love today, or this week, excuse me, was the Comfort Fade Cardi, which my part 2. It's been like 2 weeks in a row before the camera cut off because I had to take my meds, and it just did it. So happy Monday, or happy Saturday, guys. So this is the Comfort Fade Cardi by Andrea Mowry. Beautiful, beautiful pattern. The only reason I am re-knitting this after my snafu of knitting the wrong size and almost finishing the sweater is because I love this sweater so, so much. So this did not get as much love this week as I want it to because I was working on something else. But that's where I was, and that's how much I got done. So the sleeves aren't even on hold on this yet. So again, I hope to get that done this week or maybe even next week. We shall see. But yeah, so not as much as I wanted to get done. I wanted to have the sleeves on hold on this one essentially this week, but that didn't happen. So this is being knit again in Knit Picks yarn. This is their Brava Sport weight. It's a little bit thicker than a sock yarn, but a little lighter than a DK weight. And it's like right in the middle. And the colorway is called Seraphim. So yeah, I am really enjoying this one. This one is going to be a cardigan. So yeah, so I cannot wait to get this one done. Or at least get the sleeves on hold and make some progress on it. The other one now is moving really quickly because I was knitting like flat before, where I was knitting one row and then purling one row. Whereas now that it's joined, I'm just knitting around in a circle, and it makes life a lot easier. It's a lot quicker. So the thing that kind of took away some of my knitting on this week is, I think it was on Wednesday, my friend Jessica posted on Instagram this sock yarn blanket pattern that she was working on. And I kind of went, oh my gosh, that's so pretty. And I went and looked up the pattern and I bought it. It's called Northeasterly. I do not need another sock yarn blanket. I have my massive sock yarn blanket that I'm working on, but I've been working on that since about 2014. So, or maybe 2015. So it's probably been a good 4 years. And I kind of needed a break from doing those exact same squares over and over again. So I picked this one up and it's become addictive. It's like you know, eating potato chips, like just eat one more, just eat one more. And the pattern is so neat looking. So, and I really love the construction of it because you can make it, or with the sock yarn blanket, you kind of need to decide, the other one I was working on, you kind of need to decide ahead of time how big you want to make it. You don't have to, but it's generally what most people do, and it's what I did. And it's hard for me now to go back and make it smaller because I do it like in strips. So I've got like the entire width of the blanket, you know, so it's kind of hard. Whereas this one, you can knit so much of it, and I'll explain. So let me show you. So like I said, it's called Northeasterly. Is that not neat? So each of these is a different sock yarn. And you pick up the stitches from the one below, or like you knit, you know, it's the pattern's all written out. She even gives you tutorials on YouTube on how to do some of this stuff, you guys. No joke. It is amazing. I did have a mistake on my latest one. So you'll see there's this like center stitch that goes up the center of each one. On my top one, it kind of zigs over because I made a mistake. So I'm going to do my best to ignore that, but it's kind of difficult. I'm actually debating on ripping that last one out and putting it in again, just because if not, it's going to drive me bonkers. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. But anyway, or at least ripping back to where I joined it. So anyway, yeah. So the Northeasterly pattern, oh, do I have the designer's name? Bear with me just a second here. I think it's something really cool, and I think it's a lot of fun, like the designer's name. Northeasterly by Skenanigans, or Melissa Alexander Loomis. So there it is, what it looks like. Isn't that pretty? So the cool thing is that, instead of trying to point at the picture, I'll show you mine. So essentially, you know, I've done this much, and I could keep going and just do like one long strip and then join the next strip if I wanted to. But what she suggests is that you join your next one. So you join on this side here, and she tells you all how to pick up the stitches and then do the next one. So then you'd make a strip down this side. And then you could keep doing that until your width equaled your length, right? And then you'd have a square. And you could say, hey, I'm done. That's it. And then you just kind of, like, the stitches are on hold at the bottom of this one. That's why there's no needles in here. But you could just easily, like, fix this up and weave in the ends and Bob's your uncle. And then that would be your entire blanket. You know what I mean? Or, you know, I do that and now I've got a square and go, okay, I want to make it longer. So then you can add to this and just grow it down this way and then go back across again. So you're constantly making it a bit bigger until you get to the size that you want it, or you're sick of knitting on it, whichever comes first. So that's why I think it's kind of really neat, and I'm kind of really loving it. I just love the way it looks. It's just so neat the way that it does that. It's using knit twos together and, you know, stuff like that in the center. I don't want to give away the pattern. Obviously, it's a pay-for pattern, but it is a lot of fun. And like I said, it's called Northeasterly. So to kind of mimic like the arrows that you would see on a weather report, like, oh, the northeast winds are coming through. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, so I'm kind of really loving this. And it's been a lot of fun to pick back up a sock yarn project again. Like I said, I think I was a little bit burnt out by the sock yarn blanket of insanity, as I like to call it. And she also gives you directions in here to knit this with DK weight yarn, or you could use sport weight yarn. You could, if you could manipulate the math, you could probably do this with worsted weight yarn. So, you know, the choices are yours, and it does use double points. You can use double points, or you can use straights, or you can use circular needles, whatever you want. I actually broke back out my double points because I haven't used them in so long. It's probably been a year since I've used my double pointed needles. And for those of you who are not knitters and you're not sure at all what I'm talking about, let me quickly show you. These are double pointed needles. So essentially, as the name suggests, needle or a point on each side, and you knit with them. And it's so funny because I'm so used to knitting with a circular needle. So, you know, you knit across and then I automatically let go of the one side, and then I, you know, let it go. I turn the work, I grab the needle again and bring it back up to knit on it. I can't tell you the number of times I've dropped the needles. I'll be like done and be like, drop the double point and be like, oh, it's not attached to anything. So it's taking a little bit of time. And I've forgotten too that, not that it hurts, but occasionally I'll rub it against my wrist, rub them against my wrist as I'm holding the needle because of the way it sits. But it's been fun using these again. These are my carbons. These are my favorite. I absolutely love them. So yeah, so that has taken up some of my time lately. Like I said, I think I'm going to sit down after I'm done this and rip out that last square because I'm just not happy with it. And I'm one who I need to be happy with my work. But baseball season has started again. It is spring training, kids. So I have out the Red Sox bag. Big Red Sox fan. So I've got that. I've got my like little zippered pult with the little baseball thing on it. And I've got my double point needle holder. Yes, my double points are in here. This is a pretty cool little thing, you guys. So they like live inside here. Isn't that neat? And then you can actually, like, if your project is on the needles, you can clip it in here as well, and nothing will fall out. So I'm kind of loving this. This is from the Kitchen Counter Crafter. I will, if she still has a shop as well, I'll link her in the description box below too, because she does like all the sports teams. I think she did a set for Garrett in his Sabres. Did she not, Garrett? Yes, he's nodding his head. She hunted out the fabric, I think, for that. So yeah, so it's pretty awesome. I absolutely love it. And then I have a really big bag from somebody else. So eventually when this gets too big for this bag, I can put in the big bag. But yeah, so anyway, so that's all the knitting. Let's jump into the reading for today. I finished a book today. Today I finished listening to Some Enchanted Eclair by Bailey Cates. This is the 4th book in the Magical Bake Shop or Magical Bakery Mystery Series. This is the first book for my March Mystery Madness TBR. I believe I picked this one for borrowed because I borrowed it from the library, but I'm not absolutely certain. But regardless, it's from my TBR. And in this story, Katie, our main character, she the premise of this cozy mystery series is about a woman by the name of Katie and her aunt, and the two of them own a bakery, and it is a magical bakery because both of them are hedge witches, and they belong to a coven, the Spell Book Club as they call themselves, of these very eclectic women, and you know, Katie's, of course, as in typical cozy mystery fashion, is constantly tripping over dead bodies. And in this story, the story takes place in Savannah, like the series takes place in Savannah, Georgia. And there's a movie being filmed in the city. And Katie's uncle, who used to be the chief of the fire department, has been hired on as security, like the head of security for this movie set. And she shows up to give him something, and a man that she just met previously, who, or like earlier in the book, who had come into the bakery, was dead. And so then it's the whole trying to find out what happened to him. A lot of different characters in this. It was a lot of fun. I gave this one 4 stars. This is a really, really fun cozy mystery series. And, you know, I really enjoy it. She's got a little familiar, a dog named Mungo. And so the dog is featured quite prominently in the story and in the series. I really like all the other women and all the other characters. I've really been getting to know them as I'm reading more and more of this series, and I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, I absolutely recommend it. These are all available on audio from my library, which is super fantastic. So if you get a chance to check this one out, definitely do so. The other book that I'm almost done, that I've got a chapter left of, but like I said, full rating tomorrow, is The Cat Who Saw Red by Lillian Jackson Braun. This is the 4th book in the Cat Who Mystery series. And this is also for my March Mystery Madness TBR. This is for the prompt of Old. This book, I think, was originally published sometime in the 1960s. So it is an older book. An older and much loved book. I have read this one before. Parts of the story are coming back to me. The premise of this story is, the premise of this series, if you're unfamiliar with it, like I said, this is a much older series. I think publication stopped on it at least a good 10 plus years ago. She wrote the original, there might be like 23. So I think she wrote the original like 17 or 18 books. And then the author herself actually passed away. And they had a ghostwriter come in and write the final 4, 5, or 6 books. I can't remember how many or at what point. But you can really tell which point the ghostwriter picked them up, because they are not the same caliber as the original series. This series is about a man by the name of Jim Quillerin, who has 2 Siamese cats named Coco and Yum Yum, and the 3 of them solve mysteries. And in this one, it takes place in the city, and he is now living in this kind of boarding house, but it's all for people who have something to do with the food industry. Either they're restaurateurs, or in his case, he is now writing not a gourmet column, a food critic column for the local paper that he works for. And so he's moved into this place with these 2 cats, and there's these kind of mysteries going on. A woman has disappeared. Now the houseboy has disappeared. And there's some very strange goings on in and around the people in this boarding house. They're a very eclectic group of people, you know, and it's been really fun. Unlike today's cozy mysteries, I consider this to be a cozy in a way, because it's an amateur sleuth. And I think that's the hallmark of a cozy mystery. These ones tend to go a little bit darker. At least the older ones did. The ones that came later in the series, he actually, later on in the series, he wins a lot of money. Or not wins. He's inherits a lot of money. Like a ridiculous amount of money. And ends up moving to the country. And there it starts to take on more of the cozy mystery aspect that we're all used to in cozy mysteries. But in these earlier ones, they're a little more gritty, and they tend to also be a little more dark. So like I said, I'll give my full thoughts on it tomorrow. I have 1 more chapter left to go. I'm pretty sure I'm aiming around a 4-star for this one as well, but I'll report back tomorrow. But other than that, what else did I get read today? I didn't get as much of this read as I wanted to, but I am almost halfway through On the Wild Side by Kate Jenkins. This one's been really entertaining. This is my 40 Years of Harlequin project book. I think it's 1987's book. And this is about a woman by the name of Silky, of course. And his name is Clay. And she is a morning show DJ, and he is a lawyer. And she is actually studying to become a lawyer. But nobody knows that. It's kind of her alter ego. Her parents didn't think she comes from money, but her parents didn't ever think she'd ever amount to anything. And, you know, she's kind of thumbing her nose at them because they think she's like this wild child working on the radio station. She's got this whole rock chick persona that they think this is all she's going to do with her life. When in reality, she's secretly going to school to become a lawyer. And she's almost done schooling. So she's essentially burning the candle at both ends. And during her morning show, she's kind of mocking a local celebrity. And his lawyer, which is this guy right here, he has called her and pretty much said cease and desist. And then the 2 of them have kind of started communicating, and now they've gone out a couple times. And yeah, so it's interesting. I mean, I'd say no, it's not really a slow burn. I mean, you know, it's not bad. I don't love it, but I think it's interesting and I'm enjoying it. I like Silky's character. At first I thought she was a little flaky, but I'm really starting to like her quite a bit. My only thing is that when you look at that cover, he looks so much older than her. And in reality, in the book, she's 27 to his 35. So there's not that much of an age gap at all. But yet he looks a good 10 or 20 years older than her in that, you know, in that cover, you know. So, but anyway, I guess he's supposed to look more distinguished than she is. But yeah, so far I'm enjoying this one. Not loving it, but it's enjoyable. You know, I won't get it done tomorrow. I hope to get it done by Monday night. So yeah. So anyway, guys, that is it for this clip. I do hope that you enjoyed it. And tomorrow bingo. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow night. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. Happy Monday. It is March the 4th. And it's just after 9 o'clock at night. Sorry I did not get a clip up yesterday. I was exhausted. I was good this weekend. I didn't nap at all this weekend. But last night by like 7:30, I couldn't keep my eyes open. So I was just kind of sitting here reading, and then I was in bed just after 9. Gordon was sick yesterday too. His stomach was upset, so I was a little worried about him, which I tend to be because he's a bit older. He'll be 13 this year, so, you know, you gotta watch when those seniors start to not feel so well. But anyway, Monday, I survived my first day at work without my coworker. Excuse me, sorry, how rude of me. I survived my first day back without my coworker. He has moved to a new job, or well, he will next week. He's actually taken a week between the two jobs to, you know, get his head together and stuff, which I think is a really smart thing to do if you can afford to do it, if you're switching jobs. But anyway, so yeah, so it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. It's stressful, and you know, I've mentioned this before, but yeah, so I've got some books to update you guys on. I mentioned both of them. So on Sunday, I had finished listening to Some Enchanted Eclair, and I was almost done reading The Cat Who Saw Red. So I finished The Cat Who Saw Red on Sunday night, and I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. The ending of it is a little grisly for cozy mysteries, but they don't go into very much detail, but stuff is very much alluded to, so you kind of draw your own conclusions. And yeah, so I mean, it's not horrible, but I was not confused, but I guess I was confused because for some reason I thought it was like the first 4 or 5 books that were written in the 60s. It was only for the first 3 books that were written in the 60s. So this one actually was written in the 1980s. So it's a little bit more modern as opposed to what I originally thought. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It wasn't until I was updating my spreadsheet updating my reading spreadsheet that I realized that when it was published. So yeah, so I enjoyed that one. And then today I finished reading, no, not today, yesterday, I finished reading Marianne and the Search for Tigger, which I've complained about in my last vlog. I wanted to give it 2.5 stars, but I didn't dislike it that much, so I ended up giving it 3 stars. So essentially, as the title suggests, Marianne loses Tigger, or Tigger gets Tigger-napped, and I had a few major issues with this one, and I ranted about these in my last vlog, so I'm not going to do it again. But the fact that she let the cat out, you know, and left him outside on his own, because he didn't want to go in. He's a cat, doesn't really have a choice. And then the other one, when they were doing the posters to look for the cat, which is all well and good, they used a drawing that Claudia did as opposed to using an actual picture of the cat. So I thought that was a little odd. But anyway, so that is that. And yeah, so reading update for today. Actually, I started this yesterday. No, I should talk about the last book I finished. I finished this one today. On the Wild Side by Kate Jenkins. This is for my 40 Years of Harlequin project. This is the book from 1987? 87? Does it say on the side? 87. So this one, I don't think I've talked about this one yet in this vlog. This is about a woman by the name of Silky, and his name is Clay. And there's about an 7 or 8 year age difference between the two of them. And she is a morning show DJ, and she has been talking about a local celebrity, and he is the lawyer for that local celebrity. And at the very beginning of the book, he has contacted her and said, you know, please stop talking about him. or we're going to potentially sue you. So the two of them end up starting a relationship when they finally meet. And she's kind of harboring a secret that she doesn't like. He thinks she's this wild child who, morning show host. Very Howard Stern-esque is what I'm kind of thinking. Not her, but the guy that she's with on the morning show, and then she's kind of his sidekick. And so he's kind of got this vision of her being this rocker chick and all these things. But in reality, she's putting herself through law school. So, very commendable and whatever. And, it kind of teaches you first impressions aren't always, correct. So yeah, I enjoyed this one. I think I'm giving it about high on the 3.5 star. Not quite a 4 star, but higher on the 3.5 star. Because I really like both, I especially like Silky, but I really like both the characters, and this was a really great book. It was a Harlequin Temptation, and this is number 182. Like I said, it's from 87, so I enjoyed that one quite a bit. And then now, what am I currently reading? My current ebook, or no, I'll start with my audiobook. My current audiobook is Knit 1, Kill 2 by Maggie Stefton. I'm about 90% of the way through this one. I'll definitely get this one finished tomorrow. And this is about a woman who, her aunt passes away and is murdered, actually. And she shows up from Washington to Colorado, to kind of look after the estate and find out what's going on. And she doesn't believe, the police caught the suspect, but she doesn't believe that he's the one who killed her aunt, because there's a lot of other things that are kind of going on involving a large loan that her aunt took out. And then she meets up with these women who, one woman who owns and runs, and the other women who attend a local knit shop. And she's learning to knit, and they're kind of trying to solve this mystery, this whole amateur sleuth thing. She's not going into it with the whole, I'm going to solve the mystery kind of an idea. She's more doesn't quite believe exactly what the police are telling her, and she has her own theories, and she's trying to work around them. So far I'm really enjoying it. It's been a good read. I was listening to it at work today, and it was funny because there's a lot of talk, of course, of them at the knit shop. And as they're, talking about, I'm sitting there at work, and I'm answering an email, and I'm like, I'd really love to be home listening to this and knitting at the same time. So yes, I'm enjoying that one. The other one, my current ebook is America's Princess, or The American Princess. Bear with me just a second here. Let me have a look. Come on, e-reader. American Princess, and this is by Stephanie Marie Thornton. This is a historical fiction novel about the eldest daughter of Teddy Roosevelt, Alice Roosevelt. She is his daughter from his first marriage. He was married, and then his wife passed away just a few days after Alice was born. And then he ended up remarrying the woman who would end up being the first lady. And they had 5 more children. So, but she is the eldest, of course. And she was quite a character. I am not that familiar with American politics to know the nitty-gritty about presidents' children, but this has been highly enjoyable. I'm about 30% of the way through it. It's about a 450-page book. I'm reading this one for NetGalley. And I originally picked it up because of the cover. The cover is just gorgeous. And I'm really enjoying it. I mean, it starts off when President McKinley, sorry for my thumb, I'm just trying to rehold the camera. When President McKinley is shot and Roosevelt becomes president, and now we're into his second inauguration, or not his second term as president, and Alice has just announced her engagement to a congressman by the name of Nick Longfellow, and they where was it? There's quite an age difference between the two of them. I think he's 14 years her senior. And yeah, so that's where I am. But I mean, she's a card. She, smoking on the roof of the White House, sneaking out to go to parties, having some rather dubious friends. She's, kind of really going by her own rules. So what I'm really enjoying is that this book is like, I keep stopping to look up things. She has one friend who ends up marrying this Polish count, and the friend's name was Sissy, I think, or Chrissy or something like that. I can't remember. She wasn't in it. She was in it for like a chapter or two, and but she does get mentioned again. And anyway, her last name I think was Peterson, and she ends up marrying this guy. And on their wedding day, after they're married, the count or whatever leaves, and he doesn't come back, and then his best man comes in and he says, like, he's not coming back, and he will divorce her right now, and, you know, all this scandal, unless you pay a dowry, because her parents are very well off. So that's what happens. But I was reading about her, and I'm like, you know, I read the author's note before I read the book. I actually prefer doing that, so I kind of know going in what's real and what's not. And the only made-up characters the author said that she did were some of the staff at the White House. But anyway, this woman ended up going to be like the biggest newspaper owner in the U.S. Like she owned and ran the Washington Post and various things. I mean, it was absolutely fascinating. And there's another thing in this article I was reading about. I mean, this isn't even Alice Roosevelt. This is a friend of hers that I was reading about, and they end up at his village in wherever it is. It's somewhere between Poland and wherever. It's no longer a country, kind of an idea. And she shows up in this village, and she notices how many of the children look like her husband. So he's a little philandering, let's put it that way. But anyway, yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it. The history buff in me is really enjoying it. But I'll obviously let you guys know my full thoughts over the next few days. Like I said, it's a bit of a longer book, so it'll take me a couple days to get through, but thoroughly enjoying it. So anyway, guys, that is it for today. I'm going to let you go. I have a video to finish editing that's going to go up tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. It is Tuesday, March the 5th. It is my birthday today, and it's just about 9:30 at night, so I thought I would sit down and do a little clip for you guys. So update on the day. It was a pretty garbage day today, to be honest. I mean, yes, it was my birthday, which was kind of awesome, but it was one of those days at work, you know? I've been noticing the days, I was telling this to Garrett when I got home tonight, that some days are good, some days are bad, so you can tell it's getting there, but we need more good than bad days. It's getting so hard to keep up with everything that's being asked. You answer one email and 3 more fly into the inbox, and it's just like you can't, 1 step forward, 2 steps back kind of an idea. So, but I came home, and Garrett had made me cupcakes for my birthday, so I had one of those. I'm going to take some of them into work tomorrow and put them over by the coffee station, so they'll disappear in about 3.2 seconds. If anyone else works in an office, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You put snacks out, and they're gone. And then I got a card, a very nice card from him and the cats. The cats even signed it, sort of. And they have very good penmanship, I might add. And Garrett got me a gift card from, like a Visa gift card. So I promptly went on Harlequin and bought some books because I got an email from them today, a birthday email that buy 2 get 2 free. So I may have bought 8 books. Well, I bought 4 and got 4 free. You can't go wrong with that kind of a deal. So I still have, you know, at least half of the gift card left. So I will, I'm going to hold off on that till Friday. And because they usually have like some sort of like a Friday deal. So I'll probably use the rest of it then at some point. But yeah, so all in all, I mean, it wasn't a bad day. Lots of birthday wishes from people. Oh, I got patterns, knitting patterns from my friend Mandy and from my friend Tanya. So that's pretty awesome. But the books that I got, of course, I'll share with you guys on Friday when I do my little like digital book haul kind of an idea. And yeah, that's pretty much it for, I've been slacking so bad, you guys. I haven't been to the gym since Friday, and I was gonna go tomorrow. But tomorrow morning I have to, stop on my way to work and get the sticker for my car, my license sticker. We have to get it every year, and it always falls on your birthday. So, you know, happy birthday from the government, pay us money for your sticker. So I have to stop at Service Ontario and pick that up in the morning because, you know, generally the police are pretty good. They won't pull you over, like within the month of your birthday. So if like I hit April, because your sticker will say like the month and year. So like if by April I don't have it, but the fact is that you're supposed to have it by your birthday. So if I were to get pulled over tomorrow, I could get charged. So I best stop and pick it up. I was going to do it today, but they, you know, it's the government. They're open from like, you know, 8 till 1 or 8 till 9, and then, you know, 2 hours for lunch. I'm just teasing. For any of you government workers out there, I'm only teasing. But yeah, they're only open like 8:30 till 5, and those are the hours that I work. So I am going to be a little bit late into work tomorrow, but that's okay because I have to get it. I really don't want to wait because it would just be my luck that something would happen and I'd end up getting pulled over. So anyway, so I got to do that tomorrow. So I will be back to the gym on Thursday because that's where I get the bulk of my ebook reading done. So I'm kind of disappointed. I'm like, I haven't been reading ebook-wise that much. But let's jump into what I have been reading today. So I finished a book today. I finished reading Knit 1, Kill 2 by Maggie Sefton. This is the first book in a knitting mystery series. It's a cozy mystery series. Talked about this one yesterday. So it's about a woman who comes to this small town in Colorado after her aunt's death and kind of wrapping up her estate, but she doesn't believe the story, like, not the story, but what the police believe is the reason for her aunt's murder, so she's kind of investigating it on her own. And the thing was, I was listening to it yesterday at work, and I think I said this yesterday too to you guys, that listening to them sitting and talking and they're teaching her to knit, I'm just like, I just want to go home and sit and listen to this while I'm knitting. Like, it's the perfect series to do that. So I think if I read any more of these, I'm going to have to read them like on weekends or something when I can sit and knit and listen to them, because it just seems to go perfectly together. You want to craft when you're hearing about other people doing it in a book. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so that one was really enjoyable. I think I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. Yeah, I liked it. My issue with, because I've read a couple knitting related cozy mystery series now. I read this one and the Knitting Retreat mystery series. And the main character in both stories, like our protagonist, is not a knitter to begin with. You know, they pick it up, you know, later. And it's kind of great that they're learning how to knit and stuff like that. But I'd love to see a series where an avid knitter, like someone who's been knitting for years and years, is our protagonist. So, I don't know. It's a small thing, but I just... It's something I noticed over the last couple series that I've read. So yeah, so anyway, so that one was good. So that means today I started a new audiobook, and I got a funny story attached to it too. But anyway, I started Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. So look at me getting all classic. So far I'm really enjoying it. I'm about 25% of the way through it. I listened to some of it at work today. It's being narrated by Thadia Newton. She's an actress. I think she just won a Golden Globe for like either Best Actress or Best Supporting Actress, Golden Globe and Emmy, something like that. She's on a show called Westworld, I think. I don't watch the show personally. Are you nodding that I'm correct? Mm-hmm. Oh, he's not even listening to me. I thought he was bopping his head. I thought he was nodding at me. But yeah, the narration on it is amazing. Like, really good. I could have picked up a copy from my library of this on audio. They had it available. But I listened to the narration on it, and it wasn't bad. Like, I kind of saw what I thought about it. And then I went on to Audible, and I, like, listened to the preview of the narration of this one that she does. And this is an Audible original. And it's amazing. So I decided to use the credit, even though I could have listened to it, you know, for free from the library, and decided to splurge and use the credit and get this edition. And I'm super glad I did, because it's really good. You know, essentially this is the story about a woman named Jane Eyre. I'm sure all of you are probably familiar with it. I'm probably the last person on the planet to read this book. But she had a very difficult upbringing. She was an orphan, and she lived with her uncle's family, but he passed away. So she's now being raised by her aunt, who doesn't particularly care for her. And then she gets sent off to a school where she eventually becomes a teacher, and now she's been hired on as a governess. And so she's now at the estate. And yeah, that's about as far into this as I am right now. But I am really, really enjoying it. Yeah, really good. So anyway, the quick story I have to go with this is that I had to make a stop at Shoppers Drug Mart tonight on my way home, because they kind of have like all the stuff that I needed. I wanted to pick up a couple things, and it was just like kind of like a one-stop shop, and I didn't have to stop at Walmart, which I always hate stopping at Walmart because it's always so busy, even though Shoppers is more expensive. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So I pulled the car in, and it's bitterly cold out today. It's like minus 13, but it's like minus 20 something with the wind chill. It's brutal. And I was kind of sitting in my car. I was gathering up everything, making sure I had my wallet, my purse, and all that stuff. So until I physically open up the car door, whatever I have playing, like if it's the radio or whatever, it won't turn off. And I hadn't turned off the audiobook yet because I was listening to it on the way home. So finally I pressed stop on it, and, you know, put my phone in my purse and get out, and there was this woman who had been walking by my car. Well, your car's not exactly soundproof. Like, people can hear, even if your windows aren't down, what you're kind of listening to or whatever. So I get into Shoppers and I'm walking around and I turn down an aisle, and the woman who had walked by my car stopped me. She says, "I'm sorry." She goes, "I have to ask, were you listening to Jane Eyre?" And I said, "Yes, I was." Like, she must have maybe heard 5 or 10 seconds of it. And she says, "Is this your first time reading it?" And I said, "Yes, it is." And she goes, "Oh, you're going to love it." And she walked away. And I just thought that was so funny. So obviously it's a very well-loved novel. When I mentioned that I was reading this in my book haul, or not my book haul, in my TBR, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I really hope you like it. It's a favorite novel of mine." So yeah, so far I'm enjoying it. My ebook I have not gotten much read on. I really didn't get anything read other than a chapter on that one today. That is American Princess by Stephanie Marie Thornton, the story of Alice Roosevelt, the fictionalization of Alice Roosevelt's life. And so hopefully I'll get some more read on that one tomorrow. And then, did I mention I'm reading The Babysitter's Summer Vacation? Is it Summer Vacation? By Ann M. Martin. This is the second super special, in the Babysitter's Club series. I am reading these books in publication order. I found a list online, a link to this list that somebody compiled on like a message board years ago, that lists every single Babysitter's Club book, including the super specials, including the mysteries, including all the other special edition books that came out, even including the Little Sister series, which I will not read. But those are the ones about Christy's little sister, Karen. I never cared for her as a character. She's way too... I just didn't care for Karen. But anyway, I mean, those were far too young for me to have read back then anyway. But I'm reading them in that publication order because they do follow a timeline of sorts. So, the books can be picked up and read out of order, but I just think this is a fun way to kind of work through the series. And that way I get to read through some of the super specials and the mysteries and all those things too. So anyway, so yeah, this is Babysitter's Summer Vacation, and all the babysitters go to Camp Mohawk for the summer, or for 2 weeks in the summer to be counselors in training. And as per the normal super specials and how they go, is that each chapter is narrated by a different character, and it's fun. I'm enjoying it. So I'm about 25% on the way through that one too. They're slightly longer books, and yeah, I really do like them. They're a lot of fun. You often get pictures. For this one, at the beginning of each chapter, it's a postcard that the babysitters are writing home or to whomever, so it's kind of fun. But yeah, so I think that's all I have to tell you guys today. Yeah, so I guess I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care and happy reading, everybody. Why am I signing off? I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Hi guys, happy Wednesday. It is March the 6th and it's about 9:30 at night. I'm just sitting here on the couch eating some Cadbury mini eggs. Yum yum. Like, come on you guys, who else waits for this time of year just for these to come out? I love these. Had to stop at the dollar store on my way home to get paper towels, and like they had all the Easter candy out, and I'm like, yes please. So I grabbed some of those, and I'm just having a cup of green tea and doing some knitting. Garrett's fighting with the cat to get him to take his medicine right now. And yeah, so a typical night in the Phelan household, essentially. So today was not a great day. Work was tough, some personal stuff going on. Not ready to talk about it just yet. I'm just not ready to talk about it yet. I'll discuss it more later on, or maybe in another clip or something, but not right now. So anyway, besides, it's kind of family stuff, and I don't know if I really want to put it out there, with it, so we'll just leave it at that. Yeah, I don't know what to say about it. Don't worry, everything's okay. Relatively speaking. I'm just trying to think. I kind of went into a whole thing, and I had recorded this not that long, like a few minutes ago, and I did a whole explanation on it. Just so you guys don't worry, I'm just going to come out and, we found out today my dad has, bladder cancer and kidney cancer. He is having surgery in April to remove the kidney, and then chemo before that for the bladder cancer, but it is stage 1. It was caught ridiculously early. He had absolutely no symptoms. It was caught during a routine urine test, and like it was seen under the microscope kind of an idea. You know, and it wasn't until they went in and did a biopsy last month that they found, you know, like the spots and stuff like that. So they're very, very optimistic. That's all I'm going to say, but I'm still scared. I don't care what they could tell me he's going to be perfectly fine and live another 100 years. I'm still scared. So, you know, so just keep us in your thoughts if you don't mind. I'm not going to talk about it again until we get closer to the date. And I'll let you guys know how his surgery goes and all that stuff. But he'll be 70 in May. So it's my dad. And, you know, I don't care how old you get. Your parents are your parents, right? So anyway, so that's all I wanted to say. You know, like I said, I debated on even mentioning it, but whatever. So there, it's out there. So you can kind of know what kind of a day I had today. But I always try and be optimistic. That's who I am. The glass is always half full for me. I try and live my life that way. Sometimes it's not as easy, but I'm also a warrior by nature. So I am just going to try and put it aside until everything starts up. And I just have to think by summertime this will all be over and he can get back to playing with his grandkids and, you know, all those other good things, and things will be fine. That's just the way I have to think. So anyway, let's get into the books for today, guys, so this doesn't become some, you know, me crying on camera. That wouldn't be pretty. So anyway, reading-wise, I'm a little over halfway through Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte on audio. I'm still really enjoying the audio version of it. I have to say, though, at 50% of the way through, it took me a little bit to get into to the writing style and things like that. It's different than modern, you know, modern books, right? And now that I'm into it and I'm into the groove, I'm, you know, following along, no problem. I don't see what the big deal is. It's a good story, don't get me wrong, but I was looking at some reviews on Goodreads, like well before I was going to start reading it, when I was kind of thinking about it. And everybody kept going on about how amazing Mr. Rochester is, and oh my god, Mr. Rochester. Like, I think he's kind of jerky, to be honest. I don't quite like him, I'm sorry. I like Jane. I like her a lot. She's got some spunk. And right now, for those of you who have read it, and probably, like I said yesterday, everybody but me has read it, she has gone back to see her dying aunt that had kicked her out of the house, you know, pretty much like 10 years ago. I didn't realize how young Jane actually was. I mean, she's still relatively just a teenager, and he's quite a bit older than her. And, you know, he's about to be married, and she's kind of fawning all over him, kind of an idea. So, yeah, so, I can't really give a definite, my thoughts, like my final thoughts on the book yet, because I'm only halfway through it. It's about a 19-hour-long audiobook, and I'm just a little over 10 hours through it. So, I won't finish it tomorrow, I don't think. I'm hoping by Friday, because tomorrow's Thursday. I'm hoping by Friday to have it done. And, but yeah, I'm glad I'm reading it, and I'm not hating on the book, but I just don't see why everybody loves it. Let's put it that way. The other thing is, I had no idea I had to know French in order to read this book. The young lady that she's in charge of, what's her name? It's not Adele. I can't remember now, but the little girl that Mr. Rochester's charge, I guess, or what you would want to call that, passages are in French. Like, I don't speak French. So that was a little disappointing because I didn't really know what was going on. Is it just me? Is there other editions? Like, I mean, I'm listening to it on audio, so it's a little different. But are there, like, editions that give you, like, the translation? Because that would have been lovely. So I have to say I'm a little disappointed in that. Or is it just me who's not catching when they discuss what they're translating? Or, you know, that it is kind of explained, kind of an idea. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But anyway, yeah. So I'm glad I'm reading it, but I don't see what the hype is about. Let's put it that way. So the other book that I am currently reading, or my current ebook that I got quite a bit read in today, because I actually took a lunch today. I hadn't done that for the last few days. And I said, you know what? It's going to be like this for a while. You have to take your lunch. Like, I was eating lunch at my desk, but you need to step away and take that break. So I did, and I got quite a bit of reading done. I'm still reading America's Princess, or American Princess, I can't remember the title of it, by Stephanie Marie Thornton. This is a NetGalley read, and as I mentioned, it is the story of the fictionalization of the life of Alice Roosevelt, President Theodore Roosevelt's daughter. it's very political. And I know you're like laughing at me right now. It's like, well, yeah, it's a president's daughter. But no, she is very political later in life. And gosh, what a life she lived. I am reading, like, not only am I reading the book, but I'm finding myself going on Google and looking up things about her and like, did this legitimately happen? Did she do this? Did she, I mean, she ended up having a child without her, not with her husband, with some guy she was having an affair with. And her husband was having affairs with other women. And, like, it's almost like they married for the political alliance kind of an idea. And she was so pretty. I mean, she was just a lovely woman. And there's let me see if I can find it, because they were talking in an article. Sorry, my hand's getting sore. Give me just a second here, you guys. There we go. So they were talking in an article I was reading online, that was actually written back in the 70s, that this woman got to interview her. And when she went to her home to interview her, she had this pillow on her, okay, I'm on chapter 20, on her, like on her couch. Sorry, I can think. And it had this saying on it. I know it was at the beginning of one of the parts. I'm just trying to find it here. Was it part 3? Oh yes, so here it is. And I'm like, I totally want to cross-stitch this and put it on like my work cubicle. She said, if you can't say something good about someone, sit right here beside me. I mean, she was sassy. She was, like, and she lived to such a nice, ripe old age. And she really did a lot politically to help and stuff like that. But she still really was like a wild child. And it's just been fascinating to read about a slightly lesser known figure in American history. So yes, if you are a history buff or you're into the presidents and stuff like that, I recommend this one because it's really been enjoyable. So other than that, the only other thing that I got a little bit of reading done on last night and a little bit more today is Satan's Angel by Kristen James. This is my 40 Years of Harlequin project. Kristen James, I found out because I was looking this up to see whether or not they had it available as an ebook. Not that I want to read it on an ebook, but I do like looking that up to mention it to you guys. This is Candace Camp. So this is her pseudonym. So that was really interesting because I really like Candace Camp's writing. So I'm not very far. I'm maybe 20 pages into it. As you guys know, I mention it every week. I usually get most of my reading done on these on the weekends. So this will be what I'm taking with me this weekend, because I'm going on Saturday morning to get a pedicure and a manicure. It is my birthday gift from my mother. We've been doing this together for about 6 or 7 years. She books a day for the two of us. Like, we go in the morning, we get our toes done, we get our nails done, and it's kind of just a nice, like, outing for the two of us. I mean, I'm an adult. I really don't need gifts per se, because if there's anything I want, I can just buy it for myself. And, like, that's kind of the thought process. Whereas this is kind of more of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's more of an experience as opposed to a gift, right? And it's something I look forward to every year. And she always asks me every year. She's like, do you want to go and do this? And I'm like, yes, please. Because I used to always get my nails done. So this is going to be the catalyst that I'll get the shellac nails again. And because that's what she paid for me for. And then I can just keep getting them redone every couple weeks. But my toes, I'm so horrible. Like, I'll be halfway through the summer and look down and go, I really need to get a pedicure. And then the next thing I know, it's December. My mom gets them done every month because her feet are bad because of her diabetes. So it's more to kind of make sure they're all good and everything's all good. But also, it's just kind of nice, right? She doesn't get polish on them in the wintertime. She's like, nobody sees them. I'm like, you should totally, that's the time to get nail polish on them. Because in the middle of winter, you can be at home and you're going to bed and you take off your slippers and, pretty pink toes, right? Who doesn't want to see hot pink toes in December? Makes you think about summertime, right? Anyway, that's just mine. So, sorry guys, a little rambly and stuff like that. But thank you for listening to me at the beginning. Like I said, I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not looking for any of those things. I'm just letting you guys know that, it is what it is. And if you could think good thoughts, that would be great. And anyway, guys, that's it. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. Happy Thursday. It is March the 8th, and it is about 7 o'clock at night. I am just finishing cooking my dinner, so I thought I would sit down and have a little chat with you while I'm waiting. And yeah, give you a reading update and stuff for today. So quick work update, because I have been keeping you guys kind of in the loop about what's been going on at the office. We had a 3-hour-long conference call today. Well, they were all sitting in a meeting room in Buffalo, and I, of course, being the only, Canadian CSR for the US side, was on the phone in Toronto. But it was almost 3 hours long, but it was positive. They're changing around a few things. They're hopefully bringing in some temps. So it's still like a couple months before things really start to get a bit better. Like, they're just going to slowly start getting better, but until we really see a change, it might be a month or two. But I'm fine with that. I can hold off. I can, So I'm glad it was positive. And when we got off the phone, I was talking to my one coworker, and, because she's the newbie. She's the one who's kind of taken over the guy I used to sit with, his accounts. She's in Buffalo, of course. And we were just kind of chatting about what did you think and all these things. And it sounded good. So made me feel better, which is a good thing. So anyway, so that's kind of like that update. Other than that, not much else interesting has gone on. I have been a slacker to the extreme all week. I have not gone to the gym once. I keep saying I'm going to go, and then the night before I'm so tired I just go to bed, and I don't pack my lunch or pack my gym clothes, and I've been sleeping in a bit, and you know what? I figured it's my birthday week. I'm just going to enjoy it. It's been a really stressful week this week. I just thought, let's just coast. But I was just mentioning to my friend Jen, we were text messaging, and I said, it's so easy to fall off the wagon and so easy to stop doing that forward momentum that you were doing. So as of I think maybe Sunday, because Saturday I have an appointment with my mom first thing in the morning. But as of Sunday, I'm going to get back to it. So that's my game plan. But anyway, so yeah, reading update for today. Big deal. I finished Jane Eyre. Not sure I loved it. I feel it's one of those books that you're supposed to love. And I'm sorry, but I didn't. It was good, don't get me wrong. It was a really interesting story. It was intriguing. The point in the book that I got to where we found out there was this crazy woman living in his house that, you didn't kind of know about. I was like, oh, that kind of came out of left field. Because I didn't know anything about the story going into it. I didn't read up on it. I didn't read any, spoilers, for lack of a better word. It's not one of those books I've read. This is my first time reading through it. So, that was interesting. But I think overall, I'm just going to give it, 3.5 stars. It was long, And I have no issue with big books. I enjoy longer books. But, I just don't know if I'm a classics reader, and I think that's okay. You don't have to like these things. You don't have to want to read the classics. For those who want to, kudos to you, and I'm glad that you enjoy them. They're just not for me. What I did, and it's kind of funny, one of the things I took away from the book was that I just had to laugh at the fact that part of the plot line was the fact that he, who was a relatively wealthy man, was marrying his governess. And I'm like, how many historical romance novels have I read that have that very same plot premise? So some things never change, kind of an idea. So yeah, at the end of the day, I am really glad I read it. I read this for Romanceopoly for the whole fated mates mystery trope. And yes, I kind of see it. And I wonder if people put that in that list because it is such a classic and because that's how people feel that these two people belong together. Do you know what I mean? More so than the fact that this is what it was. But you know what? It was on a list on Goodreads, so I'm counting it for the Romanceopoly, and I'm checking another one off the list. So yeah, so I enjoyed that. So we're going to get back to a cozy mystery tomorrow. And the other thing too, guys, even if you've read Jane Eyre, if you've read Jane Eyre and you really, really liked it, and you have an extra Audible credit just hanging around with nothing to do, I absolutely recommend that you get the version on Audible that is narrated by Thadia Newton. It was brilliant. She did such a good job with the different character voices, and, her accent is just brilliant. Absolutely recommend it. I mean, that was the shining star for me. I would give the narration 5 out of 5 stars all day long because it was fantastic, and it really made the book that much more enjoyable for me. I know that Steve is doing the mandatory Pride and Prejudice read-along for the month of March. I tried it. I started it. I got about 20 or 30 pages in, and it's just not... it's not resonating for me. I think I have so many other things to read. And because I was also reading Jane Eyre, or had planned on reading Jane Eyre this month, I think it was just a little bit much. So I do know that on the Romanceopoly there is a classics square where you're to read a classic romance novel. So I think at that point I might pick up Pride and Prejudice again, but maybe on audio. Maybe that might be a little bit easier for me to digest. So yeah, so we shall see. Because I want to see what the hype is about. That's the thing. And it's a romance novel. So, you know, right? So I feel like I should like it, but I just couldn't get into it. Again, I think I just had too many other things on my plate. So, sorry, Steve. I'm probably banished now. So anyway, the other book that I finished today, because I did finish another book today, so that's super exciting. I finished American Princess by Stephanie Marie Thornton. This was so good. This is definitely a 4-star. This one I read for NetGalley. It is, I've been talking about it for the last few days, the story of Alice Roosevelt, and I loved it. If you enjoy a good historical fiction novel, definitely pick this one up. And if you like politics, and you know, she was a very strong woman. She had her own ideas and her own opinions, and yeah, it was fascinating. And I mean, it really spans a good length of time. So the story starts when President McKinley is shot and Roosevelt takes the White House, and then kind of goes all the way through her life, you know, up until her death. So, you know, it was so good. She was so scandalous for her time, like, really, you know, doing things and saying things that, you know, she wanted her dad, she wanted so badly for her father to approve of her, and to, you know, look at her, you know, the same way he looked at his other children, but, you know, it just seems that no matter what she did, it was never the right thing, and yeah, I really felt for her in places, and it was really fascinating, and has given me another glimpse into a different area of American history, and I really liked it. So that's really all I got read today. I mean, I think that's enough, right? I had planned on starting another cozy mystery novel, but today was kind of busy and being on that 3-hour-long phone conversation, so I didn't get to do that, but I'll definitely do that tomorrow. It's on the docket. And yeah, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Yay! So, yeah, I'll talk to you guys then. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. Happy Friday. Yay, Friday. Today is March the 8th, and it's about 7 o'clock at night. I'm coming to you a little bit earlier tonight with this clip, earlier than I normally do with my clips at night, because I want to, when I'm done this, I need to sit down and I need to update my Goodreads, because I started and finished a book today. And then I want to try and get as much of the vlog edited as I can, because I had planned on doing that during the week, like editing throughout the week, but I just didn't have the brain capacity to do that. I was tired most nights and stuff like that. So, but anyway, I just really want to watch some booktube. But I think I mentioned in, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Excuse me. It's Friday at Starbucks. Peach white tea with no lemonade. Yum, my favorite. We had Popeyes for dinner. Oh, it was so good. It's an indulgence. It's like once a month. But because my birthday was on Tuesday, we didn't do takeout on Tuesday. It was just easier to do it today. So yeah. So Garrett's like, what do you want for dinner? And I'm like, I don't know. You know, that whole back and forth we were texting each other today. And he's like, how about Subway? And I'm like, I typically really like Subway, but I've been taking sandwiches to lunch, or for lunch every day this week, like ham or turkey or something, and I'm just like, I am kind of over lunch meat. So I'm like, I don't know. And Garrett's one who suggested Popeyes. It's not his favorite, but it's one of my favorites, mainly for the biscuits. I could just eat the biscuits. They're like the best. With honey, yum. But anyway, so that was my dinner. Where was I going with this? So anyway, yes, I want to edit the vlog as much as I possibly can tonight, because I think I mentioned this earlier in another clip that I have a spa appointment with my mother tomorrow morning. My birthday present from her. We go and we get our toes done and we get our nails done and all those other wonderful things. So I'm going to have much nicer nails the next time, the next video you guys see from me. My nails are destroyed. I mean, they don't grow because I have such bad circulation from, you know, from my condition. And, you know, my skin is always really dry, and my hair, you know, like, it doesn't grow very quickly and stuff like that. So I get the shellac nails put on. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to get done tomorrow. And then I'll just upkeep them as the weeks go on. But anyway, so I'm not going to have a lot of time tomorrow to edit the vlog. And I didn't want it to go up at like midnight. I don't think it's as long as last week's, but we shall see. I say that and then I look at it and go, ooh, yikes. So mainly because I like to sit here and chat. So anyway, now I've got the hiccups. So anyway, that's why I am coming to you a little bit early tonight. We always eventually end up where we started, people. You know me. So a few things that I want to talk about, of course, in this clip, like I always do. The Fridays, the first one and the last one are usually the longest ones of the week. I, of course, have my 40 Years of Harlequin book to talk about. And I also have my digital book haul that I want to share with you guys. Last week was 22 books. It wasn't that bad this week. It was only 20. But a good chunk of those were a birthday present from the hubby. Typically I will not have that many books that I will purchase in a given week typically. But yeah, so, let's get started with what I read today. Cause like I just said, I started and finished a book. So the book that I started and finished was Sugar Cookie Murder by Joanne Fluke. Book number 6, I think, in the Hannah Swenson series. And it was funny when I was adding it last night to Goodreads, like after I finished Jane Eyre, I marked that one as done and put my rating on it. Oh, speaking of which, very quickly, as I was like sitting here last night, I was kind of thinking about some things and kind of going back and forth. I ended up actually giving Jane Eyre 4 stars because I really did enjoy it. There were a few things I still don't understand. It's not for me, but I can appreciate it for what it is. So that's why I ended up deciding to go ahead and give it 4 stars because 3.5 just didn't sound, you know, it's funny. It's like you hear, you know, 3 stars or 3.5 stars. It's like, yeah, that's okay. But then you hear 4 stars. You're like, oh, that's really good. It's all our perception, isn't it, you guys? But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it enough to rate it 4 stars. So I went back and changed my rating on it. So I just thought I'd mention that for you guys. But anyway, I added Sugar Cookie Murder to currently reading, even though I didn't start it till today. And I'm looking, I kind of scrolled really quickly down and I don't read the reviews, but I kind of like skim over them. Especially I look at the ones that if it's a book that my friends that I have friended on Goodreads, if you want to be my friend on Goodreads, please do. There's always a link in the description box below to me on Goodreads, and please add me because I always like looking at, you know, if my friends have read books and if they've rated them and stuff. And it didn't get the best ratings. It was like 3 stars and stuff like that. So as I was quickly scrolling through, a lot of people were like, not as long, not long enough. That was part of the problem. And I'm like, sorry, I keep glancing over at the cat because he's laying on the couch, but it looked like he was shaking. No, he's okay. Maybe he's having a bad dream. Or maybe it's me. My peripheral vision isn't that great. Anyway, I have all the problems, you guys. So anyway, they said it wasn't long enough, and I'm like, it's not listed as like a shorter book that comes in between the books. It is officially book number 6. And I looked on the other editions, like I clicked on the other editions so I could look at them all. And most of them were like listed at over 300 pages long. And I'm like, am I reading the wrong book? Like I started to get concerned. So I went on my library website and I looked and there was a copy available to borrow. So I borrowed it really quickly just to look. And I looked. For like the last 150 pages of the book is nothing but recipes. It's like this Lake Eden cookbook. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. So the audiobook, you get 5.5 hours of the actual story. And then the last 30 minutes, 40 minutes or so of the audiobook is selected recipes from the book, which I always think is kind of funny when they include the recipes or something like that in the audiobook. It's like you're listening to it on audio. Like you're not going to copy it down. You're not going to, I mean, I appreciate that they did it, and it does say it says these are only selected recipes, and if you want all of them, pick up the print book or the ebook, I guess. But yeah, so you know, it is what it is. My only disappointment is, of course, Goodreads shows it at 350 pages that I read, when in reality it was only 200. So on my spreadsheet, I'm going to put like about 200 pages. I don't know exactly the page count, but I don't want to overinflate my reading. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, the story itself. It took place over the course of a single day, and it is the Lake Eden, this cookbook that Hannah's been putting together. They're having kind of the big, like a big tester thing or something like that. And one of the local residents shows back up with his new wife that he just met and married in Vegas after knowing each other for like 5 hours. And then she ends up murdered in the parking lot. With the antique knife that Hannah's mother had just acquired for her antique business. This Regency cake knife or something like that. So anyway, the story, of course, goes from there. And Hannah's sister goes into labor. She's been pregnant for the last few books. So yeah, I really am enjoying reading this like in order because, you know, there are certain little plot lines that are kind of being followed, and it's really fun. It was a cute story. Again, I will agree with other people, it wasn't long enough. You know, I appreciate the idea of putting the recipes in there, but I think the book could have been a bit longer. It is kind of sort of a Christmas story because it takes place just about a month before the holidays, actually, but I think after Thanksgiving. But there's Christmas music that they talk about. Of course, you know, Hannah's baking Christmas cookies and things like that. So yeah, I mean, it was enjoyable, 3.5 stars. I'm glad I read it. Good part of the series. Although I do have to say, though, that the audiobook itself, like I listened to it on Scribd or whatever you want to call it. So it didn't cost me anything to listen to it. But if I wanted to buy it on Audible, it's like $16. That's a little... Audiobooks are super expensive, so I am all for, you know, if you can borrow them from your library or if you have like the Audible, you know, like a credit from Audible or something like that. I don't even think I'd spend that on an Audible credit, to be completely honest. I would probably, you know, knowing going into it, because it's not a full-length novel, I would, if I couldn't have gotten to listen to it at zero cost, I would have probably read the ebook because that to me would make a bit more sense. But anyway. The other book that I started today, that I am thoroughly enjoying already, and I'm only about 20-ish% of the way through it. I plan on getting some more reading done on it tonight. And that is Murder Once Removed by, I think it's S.C. Perkins is the author. The picture, of course, will be up here. This is a cozy mystery, and it is from NetGalley. I have a couple cozy mysteries from NetGalley this month, which is exciting because it is March Mystery Madness. So, you know, I listened to a cozy mystery today, and now I'm reading one. And I really am enjoying the premise of this. Our amateur sleuth is a genealogist, and that's what she does for a living. So people hire her to trace their family history, and I am kind of obsessed with family histories. I did do the Ancestry thing for a while. You know, I paid the money and stuff like that to go on Ancestry.ca and do all that. I want to do my DNA thing. I really, really do. I think that would be fascinating. So I know sometimes they have sales in the summer. So I think I'm going to kind of save up some of my money and get that done. I had a couple friends who did it and they really thought it was interesting. So that's something I really want to do, but I'm super interested in tracing family history. My dad's side of the family, especially when my grandmother was alive, my grandmother has copies of the Passenger Manifest from, like, for their portion of it from when they arrived over from Poland in the 1920s into Canada. You know, my aunt has a copy of the family tree that traces back, fun fact, my maiden name is Elgie, E-L-G-I-E. And my aunt has a copy of this family tree that goes back to like the early 1800s. And it was 3 brothers who, of course, had that last name, who emigrated from England to Canada. 2 of the brothers went to the U.S. and 1 stayed here in Canada. And every single Elgie in Canada and the U.S. can be traced back to those 3 brothers. Isn't that pretty neat? And they do these huge family reunions every couple years, and they move them all over the place. Like one time it was in California, and one time it was like, you know, in like the New York or New England area. And about 15 years ago, it was in Toronto, and it was over the summer, and they rented out part of the U of T, University of Toronto's, what do you call it? Like the dorms for people to stay in. You know, because it would have been expensive to stay anywhere else. But yeah, so anyway, sorry. Like, I am, like, really obsessed with, like, family genealogy and stuff. I used to love watching that television show, Who Do You Think You Are? Oh, that show was so much fun. I would love to hire somebody. But anyway, back to the book, I should say. So that's her job. And at the beginning of the book, she's working on this case, if you will, for this gentleman whose great-great-great-grandfather had been killed. But the whole family kind of had this, like, rumor going through like the generations that he'd actually been murdered, and she has now found evidence that perhaps he was. So the murder that she's actually investigating took place in the past, which is kind of super fun, but there's something going on in the present because, so it's like almost like, it's not a dual timeline because you're not going back to the, sorry, I'm having a bad hair day today. You're not going back to the past and then coming back to the future. Sorry. Can't help myself. And it all takes place now, but she is investigating this thing that happened in the past, and there's obviously something going on now because at the point in the book that I'm at now, an FBI agent has just come to her door. Because this man who asked her to investigate this, his son is running for senator for the state of Texas. And the man that they believe may have killed his great-great-great-grandfather is his great-great-great-grandson or whatever is current senator for the state of Texas. And they're kind of running against each other. So you're kind of getting that whole Hatfield and McCoy's kind of an idea. So yeah, like I said, I'm only about 20% of the way through this so far, but I'm really enjoying it. And I will update you guys more in my next vlog because this is the last clip for this vlog. But anyway, yeah, so that's what I'm currently reading today. And you know, like I said, I like the Hannah Swenson book, and this one I'm also really enjoying. My game plan for March Mystery Madness, because we're doing a couple videos for March Mystery Madness, a couple extra videos. So today's video that went up wasn't really March Mystery Madness related. It was the announcement video for next weekend's Create Your Own Readathon. Next Friday, my March Mystery Madness video is going to be all about cats and cozy mysteries. So I'm kind of putting together a video and giving some recommendations and things like that. The week after that, I'm going to be doing a video about, I'm using both Harlequin Intrigue and Harlequin Romantic Suspense, and I'm giving you guys 5 recommendations from each. If you have not gotten into those series yet, actually, you know what? I should add Love Inspired Suspense. What do you guys think? If you want me to, I will do all 3. Maybe I'll do 3 from each. You know, 3 or 4 recommendations from each for you guys to pick up and check out, you know, older books and stuff like that, backlist stuff. But that's my plan. And then the last Friday in March, I'm going to be doing a dual review on this book, the one that I'm talking about right now, this Murder Once Removed. And I'm also going to be reviewing Mayday Murder, which I'm reading next, which is another one from NetGalley. So these are both going to be NetGalley reads, but I'm going to do kind of like a dual review of the 2 books together in a video for March Mystery Madness. So I hope that you guys are going to enjoy that. Not in April, but maybe more into May. I'm going to be doing more reviews on this channel. I would like to, my goal is for all the books I read from NetGalley is to do individual reviews on each of them on this channel. And they won't be very long. I'm going to do it like 5-minute or less, like 4-minute long reviews or something, like not terribly long videos. But I want to do that because NetGalley and the publishers are nice enough to send me these books that, I mean, yes, I talk about them here. I talk about them in my wrap-ups. But I thought it would be nice to have like a go-to for like a single video if somebody's interested just to hear about that book. So that's my goal, like coming into the spring. So be on the lookout for that eventually. I know reviews are not a big deal here on BookTube, surprisingly. They're the videos that get the least amount of views, but I really don't care about that. This is more my way of showing my appreciation to the publisher and the author and NetGalley. You know what I mean? Plus, I think it's just kind of nice. Like, you know, that's how I found BookTube, was looking for a review that somebody had done. Maybe somebody had done a review on a book. And I think I typed into Google and a video came up and it was like, what's this? So, yeah, but, you know, still. Anyway, sorry, rambling as per usual. So that's all about the reading today. Let's open our 40 Years of Harlequin book, shall we? We are up to, guys, 1989, the year I turned 10. We're 1/4 of our way through this project. Wow, right? Crazy. And it's only early March. So yeah, wow. 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89. So this is my 11th book. That's exciting. A little more than 1/4. We have, ooh, yes. I remember seeing the cover of this one and going, there's a koala. I've always wanted to hold a koala. My mother did. Her and my dad went to Australia in '76, way before I was born. And my mom has pictures holding a koala. And there's pictures of my dad with the big old handlebar mustache. So yes, this is called Centerfold by Valerie Parv. Look at him. Can we talk about those aviator sunglasses and that shirt? My goodness. Wow. Anyway, what's this about? Could he really love an imposter? Dani was a journalist by profession, but because of the debt she owed her identical twin Trina, a beautiful model, she agreed to fill in for her on a modeling assignment. Too late, Dani learned that the photographer for the swimsuit shot, Rowan Trainer, it's always a guy named Rowan, isn't it? Was her flighty sister's most recent romantic reject. For by then, Dani was falling in love with the handsome, unpredictable photographer, and he, it seemed, was falling in love with her. Still, Dani feared for her heart. Yes, Rowan knew she wasn't Trina, but wasn't he just falling in love with her mirror image? Something about twins. Like, I don't know, like, it's that was such a thing of the 1980s, wasn't it, you guys? Like, you know, with the whole Sweet Valley twin thing. I mean, I know this is for an older audience, but the 80s seem to be like tons of books are written about twins and stuff like that. So yeah, so this one should be a lot of fun. And there's a koala. So I'm assuming this might take place in Australia. I don't know. Well, guess what? Valerie Parv is an Australian writer. So there you go. Busy and successful career as a journalist and an advertising copywriter before she began writing for Harlequin in 1982. Sorry about that. Sorry, guys. She is an enthusiastic member of several Australian writers' organizations. Her many interests include her husband, her cat, and the Australian environment. I kind of like that. Her love of the land is a distinguishing feature in many of her books for Harlequin. She has recently written a colorful study in a nonfiction book titled The Changing Face of Australia. Her home is in New South Wales. So there you go. It's an Australian book by an Australian author. That's fun. I doubt highly that this is available on the Kindle. So I'll check though. I'll check and I'll let you guys know. I always do check for you guys. But yeah, so this one I am very much looking forward to now. So let's get on to my digital book haul because this video or this clip is getting super duper long. And we don't want it to be too long. So excuse me. All right, what have we got here? I have them all written down because there is no way that I would be able to remember them all. And as per usual, as I always say, I list all the books, especially the book haul books in the description box below. So you guys can go and check them out if you're interested. And of course, I will let you know where I got all these from, especially if they're part of a deal. So if you are interested, you can go ahead and check them out. I'm not going to get into what all of them are about because that would make this video horribly long, but I will have all the pictures up here for you guys. So the first one, Loving Catalina Cove by Brenda Jackson. This was a Kindle Daily deal. It is book number 1 in the Catalina Cove series. Of course, it's a contemporary romance. I had this one on my wish list and it came up on a Kindle Daily deal, I think on Monday or Tuesday. And I immediately snatched it up because it was like really low priced. And I have actually not read Brenda Jackson, and I'm so mad about that, and I need to. So I think I'm definitely going to try and read one of her books next month, like put that definitely in for April, so maybe this might be the one. The next one. Okay, the next 8 books are all birthday books. There are more, but there's one in between, so I'm doing these in the order that I bought them, and it's just easier for me. But anyway, a bunch of these are all birthday books that I used the gift card that my husband got me for my birthday, the Visa gift card, to buy books from the Harlequin website. I usually can't buy books from the Harlequin website because I have a Visa debit card, but it's a Canadian Visa debit card, and the Harlequin website does not accept it. It's really frustrating, and there are some Canadian sites that will not accept a Canadian Visa debit, and it's really, really frustrating because if I want to buy ebooks off of that site, I have to get a gift card, or I have to get like a reloadable gift card because we don't have a credit card. Financial reasons, we don't have a credit card, and we are perfectly fine with that. 99% of the time, I can use my Visa debit as a credit card. You know, I can buy stuff online with it, but in this one case, I can rent hotels with it. But yet I can't buy off the Harlequin website. I really wish that they would have PayPal. I really, really wish that they would use PayPal, like everybody else, except for Amazon. But everybody else accepts PayPal, except for Harlequin. Anyway, sorry, my little rant. So these are some of the books that I bought with that gift card, and I actually still have money left on it. I bought some more today, but I'll get into those in a second. First one, Keeping Secrets by Fiona Brand. This is a Harlequin desire novel, and I think somebody asked me how do I pick the books because there are so many available on the Harlequin website. like so many of the backlist books, and they're all available on ebook, and it's fantastic. I literally just kind of pick and choose through each of the different lines that I like reading, and kind of just like flipping through pages and just seeing what catches my eye, and then that's what I pick. That's pretty much it. Operation Homecoming by Justine Davis. This is book number 6 in the Cutter's Cove series. It is a Harlequin romantic suspense. Next up, I can't seem to get away from the Christmas stories, even when it's far from Christmas. Love Lies in Mistletoe by Jennifer Snow. This is a Brook Hollow story, book number 6, and it's a Harlequin heartwarming novel. This one I actually have, yes, I have read the first book in the series, and as I was slipping through, I stopped at this one because I'm like, it looks like she works in a food truck, and I kind of love that idea. And it's The Cook's Secret Ingredient by Meg Maxwell. Book number 4, In Hurley's Homestyle Kitchen. This is, of course, a special edition novel. I love these ones. They're some of my favorites. Had to get a historical. The Earl's Irresistible Challenge by Laura Temple. Book number 1 in the Sinful Sinclair series. So this one looks really good. This one is actually, when I came across it, this is a reprint in a way. So they reissued it again for ebook, I guess, maybe. But the cover is different than the original. So the cover that's available if you go anywhere to buy this as an ebook, this is the cover. And the book is The Lost Girls of Johnson's Bayou by Jana Deleon. I really like her writing. This is a Harlequin intrigue. But the original cover is down here. So I'm going to kind of put it smaller over here for you guys. I'm kind of really loving the new cover better. I don't know what it is, but that's a beautiful scene. But, I mean, the first cover is really, really dark and kind of creepy, whereas that one, it's still creepy, but not as creepy. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, this one looked like it was going to be really good. And then the last one out of this first little batch of birthday books I bought these on my actual birthday, was Her Texas Cowboy by Jill Lynn. A love-inspired romance, which I do enjoy these ones a great deal. And then on Wednesday, this is what's really funny. Was it Wednesday? It must have been Wednesday. On my way home from work, I was listening to the Smart Bitches Trashy Books podcast, hosted by Sarah Wendell. And she was interviewing author Rachel Hawkins, who has written, I've heard about her, and she's written the, is it the Rebel Belle series? It's a YA series. Anyway, she was talking about this new series that she was writing, about, like, royals, like, you know, with the whole thing now with Harry marrying Meghan, and, you know, for us Canadians, we grew up kind of with the whole royal family thing, you know. I can remember as a child, God Save the Queen still being sung in school. Whereas to my American friends, not that this is a new thing, but it's a newer thing, especially with him marrying an American. So I think that's really something that a lot of authors are kind of running with, the whole literally a commoner marrying a prince. And she was talking about this new series that she's writing, and the first book is literally about that, a commoner starting a relationship with a prince, because it is a YA novel, so they're not getting married. But she was talking about the second book, which comes out in May, and it's about a princess who ends up going to a boarding school and falls in love with another girl. So it's an LGBTQ book, and it sounded really good. So when I got home, I put both of them on my wish list, and I thought, okay, like the first book is called Prince Charming. It was like $9.99, and I thought, I mean, I want to read it, but I don't want to $9.99 read it. That's how I go through a lot of things. I'm like, I want it. Do I want it that much? But literally the next day, it showed up on a Kindle Daily Deal, and I got it for like $1.99, and I'm like, yes, please. So I immediately bought it. So Prince Charming by Rachel Hawkins, book number 1 in the Royal series. So this one looks really cute, and I am looking forward to getting to it because I think it'll be a lot of fun. And now more birthday books, because so I bought five more, because today on Harlequin, every Friday they have like usually a deal like buy 2 get 2 free. In this case, it was buy 3 get 2 free, and that's part of the other reason I really want to be able to buy ebooks on Harlequin's website, because they have these Friday deals. And like out of nowhere, a couple weeks ago, they had like a 40% off site wide. I'm like, man, I want you to take my money, and you won't take my money. Very upsetting. So anyway, the books I bought today. The Fugitive Secret Child by Geri Krotow. Book number 5 in the Silver Valley PD series. This is a Harlequin romantic suspense novel. The Girl He Left Behind by Patricia Kay. The Crandell Chronicles, book number 2, a special edition novel. Her Sheriff Bodyguard by Lynna Banning, another Harlequin historical novel. With No Reservations by Laurie Tomlinson. This is a Harlequin heartwarming. And The Wedding Planner's Big Day by Cara Colter, a Harlequin romance novel. So those are all the Harlequin ones that I got this week. Generally, I won't be buying a lot of Harlequins again. They won't take my money. And then the last 5 books that I have to mention to you guys are the 5 that I picked. I've mentioned this before, but in case you're new, when Kindle releases their monthly deals on the first of the month, it's like my favorite time of the month, because I will sit down and go through the entire 60-page list that they have, and I will add the books that interest me to a wish list. And then on Fridays is book buying day, and I will randomly pick 5 of them and purchase them. So it's very, very random. I kind of love my reading and my book buying to be very random that way. I know it sounds weird, but it saves me from having to make any tough decisions, essentially. Like, do I want this one or that one? No. If I just randomly pick, no choices involved, and I've already added them to the list, so I know I want them, but you know what I mean? So anyway, the first one is Snowfall by Sharon Sala. This is a romantic suspense novel. This is one of her lesser-known works, I think. But yeah, Sharon Sala, she does some really great romantic suspense, so this one looked really good. The Lawman Returns by Lynette Eason. This is book number 1 in the Wrangler's Corner series. This is actually a love-inspired suspense novel. The cover I have posted up here is the ebook cover now. If you buy it on ebook, this is the cover you're getting. But it's a reprint. And the original cover, I'm again going to put down here for you guys, because this is the opposite of the one by Jana Leon, because I prefer the original cover over this new cover. I don't know why. Probably because the older cover is Christmas kind of related in a way with that. It was obviously a book that took place at Christmas time. But I don't know. I just like the older cover better. It's just me. The next one is From Rome with Love by Jules Wake. This is the From With Love trilogy, book number 3. I came across this one. It's labeled as a chick lit. It's about a woman who goes to Rome after a breakup, and it looked really cute. So like the first book is like From Paris with Love, and the second book is like From Italy with Love or something. And I think they're not so much you need to read them in order, but more of a theme connected kind of series. So yeah, it looked like a lot of fun. Irish Eyes by Mary Kay Andrews. I mean, very appropriate for March. This is book number 8 in the Callahan Garrity mystery series. Now, this is just labeled as a mystery series. It's not labeled as a cozy mystery series. Now, I know Mary Kay Andrews does a lot of, like, kind of women's fiction books, but I don't know. Now, for those of you who have read this series, please do let us know. Is this a cozy mystery, or is this a little grittier? Like, is this more of a police procedural kind of an idea? I'm happy either way, but I'm just curious. So... And then the last one is Chasing Shadows by Karen Harper. This is a South Shores book number 1, and this is another romantic suspense. Karen Harper I've read before. She did a really good series about mysteries that were taking place in like Amish country. I don't know if this is one of them, but yeah, she does some really great books. So anyway, guys, we're done. That's it. What is this, 30 minutes? Oh, good Lord. Okay, we're done. Sorry, I rambled on quite a bit in this clip, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Take care and happy reading, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.